Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Annalise and I am one of the 2023 school captains at Buckley Park College. It is my privilege to formally welcome you to Buckley Park College's 60th anniversary celebrations. Please welcome Stacey Piper, a Wurundjeri woman, to present the Welcome to Country.
Thank you, Annalise. Baladun Young Langat, Nadanik Stacey, Wurundjeri Willamik, Wurundjeri Balakut, Bajajauran, Banulay Namarang, Mundanai Muruk Gulada Bidarang, Mundanai Liwikul of Nugalik, Mundanai Willamik, Mundanai Tharangok Big, Wuruburu Big, Mernwood Big, Banya Big Big Dewey, Barbikut, Mundanai, all the special guest dignitaries in the room, all the leaders of the school captains, all the teachers, principal, I'm sure you're probably, all the parents, and extend that Mundanai to the students. Ba Mundanai, Kirib, Ba Bubups, Ba Burais, Nongodjin. So, hands up if you know anything that I said just then. Yeah, it's good. I think I see more and more hands coming up as time goes on, and at different events I see definitely a lot of hands, especially kids, because kids are learning a lot about language and culture in schools these days, which is really amazing. So I'll quickly translate. I've got a little presentation to share. I thought because of the significance of this event, it was either a nice video of me and my family dancing up in the forest, or a bit of a presentation to give you a quick snapshot of Wurundjeri history. It's just a blip in the ocean, really, or in the river, should I say. But yeah, just to give you a little grounding and extend the welcome a little bit further and deeper. So I firstly acknowledged my ancestors, the Liwik. I acknowledged the Bidarang, which is the Yarra River, and that's a life force of country and a sustainer of country and people. I also acknowledge the Willumbik, and when I acknowledge Willumbik, it just simply means home country. But when I extend that through a welcome to country, it's just basically acknowledging all of you, because you all belong to this home country. It's your home country. It sustains all of us now, and we all need to look after it. We all have a responsibility to care for country, as our ancestors did for over 65,000 years. I acknowledge the layers of country, and that's through a Wurundjeri cultural lens. We look at the layers of country. We call the Tharangog Big our dreaming. That's our forest above the clouds. It really places us on Wurundjeri country because we have beautiful mountain and forests here on Wurundjeri country, and as you probably could know, it's very different to, say, the Central Desert or up north. You know, if we bring people down to Wurundjeri country from up north, they're breaking their necks looking at the size of the trees, because they don't have trees quite that big. So I like to make sure that people are aware that we are very different here in this part of the world, in this part of the continent, and Wurundjeri is very unique in language. Aboriginal people from around the country wouldn't understand a word that I said either, because we speak very different languages and we have very different landscapes, customs, and even totems. We don't have crocodiles here, thank goodness, because I really love swimming in the ocean. And when I go up there a week, I can't swim in the ocean. So anyway, I wanted to start, I'll finish translating, but the layers of country I won't go into deep because I'll be here for a while, but they are very much linked to our value systems. And we're waking up that as well as language, our cultural values. I acknowledged, obviously, special guests, dignitaries who are here today, and the school, and the teachers, and all of you parents for turning out for this celebration. I'm honoured to represent my family in, welcoming you all to celebrate the 60 years. I also acknowledge Kiddup, which means friend. We're all friends, we're all human beings, right? We're all walking this journey together in this life. And finally, I acknowledge the Bubups and Burais, so that's children, young ones, babies, yes, Burai. So they're the next generation who we are instilling with these values and, respect for where we are, and trying to work together to heal the past and move forward together as people. So I started here. I'll quickly flick through it because I don't want to be here for a long time. It's not about me, but I did want to start where we begin with William Barrack. A lot of the kids learn about it in school, but maybe some parents don't get to learn about that. But William Barrack was our Nutting Gator, our headman, our lawman for Wurundjeri people. And the next slide shows his sister Annie Borate. Her real name was Borate. But that's my fourth generation grandmother. So she and Barak saw pre and post settlement or invasion or colonisation. Whatever word or terminology is used, it's all the same. So they saw traditional life and then post-traditional life, and they were present for the signing of the original treaty between their father, Bebejan, and John Batman, the only treaty that's been documented in this country. So the next slide, we go further down to Robert Wandoon. So Annie had her son, Robert Wandoon. All Wurundjeri people come from Annie and then from Robert. So Robert Wandoon, and then we have Granny Jemima, who's carrying the baby on the very end there on her back. I always acknowledge them because I can say I acknowledge my ancestors and my elders, but I want to, place them because they're an important part of this story. So the next slide is my nan, who was born on Corranderk Mission. So once settlement took place, the land was divided up and Aboriginal people were put on missions. My nan was born on the mission, and my mum was then brought up on the fringes of society, basically. So they weren't counted in the census. They weren't, at the time, they were managed under the Department of Environment and Wildlife. So hence the Flora and Fauna Act, which was a myth, but it was still a lived experience. And I suppose I'm sharing that with you right now just because by the time my mum was 21 years old, the 1967 referendum took place in this country where a resounding yes vote saw them counted in the Constitution, counted in the census, and therefore legislation and policies shifted. It did take some time, but it meant that people like me could get an education, people like me can get access to healthcare and housing. So, as you can see, the timeline is very recent here in this country, and for Wurundjeri people being in such an amazing place like Melbourne and Greater Melbourne, how much further we've got to go. I'm one of the lucky ones. I think, I didn't have to smash down those barriers and those walls. My mum and my nan did that for me to be standing here today and share the beautiful side of our culture. We've got a lot of beauty to share as Wurundjeri people, and hopefully one day we can all share in it together and, speak the language together and celebrate, our resilience and this beautiful country. So, on that note, I'll welcome you, Womenjika, Wurundjeri Balak, Yemen Kundibik. Welcome to Wurundjeri country. I'm Stacey, and enjoy your 60th year. Congratulations.
To country at Buckley Park College. Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Vivian, and I am one of your college captains. I, along with the other captains, am so incredibly honoured to be part of this monumental event. We are here to celebrate 60 years of a spectacular school. But if you look around, Buckley Park College is not just the buildings, it's not the trees or the signs or even this performing arts centre that we are in here. It's the people. It's a legacy of 60 years worth of wide-eyed, optimistic students, wise and caring teachers, and loving and supportive families. We all come together to help shape our school and make Buckley Park College a true family. And hopefully we look forward to many more years of educating young people and shaping future generations with love and kindness, because we all deserve to feel supported in our journey in building our wings. I'd like to introduce our principal, Mr. Harold Chung.
Good afternoon, and I too wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet and pay our respects to the elders, past, present and emerging. It is an absolute honour and privilege to have all of you here today gathered to celebrate Buckley Park College's 60th anniversary. This milestone is a recognition of not only the legacy of the contribution of the students, staff, families and community past as well as present in building on continual success to become the great school where we are today in providing excellence in education but also in a caring environment. Our values of aspiration, kindness, resilience and community have influenced the way in which we meet the needs of our school community. Today is an example of the not-for-profit event is where we are bringing the community together. It's great to see not only so many former students, current students, but also their families here. We also welcome the visitors, many from our local primary schools, joining us today. Today's event would not be possible without the help of our 60th Anniversary Organising Committee, and I want to acknowledge the leadership of our Assistant Principal, Mr Paul Facey, the parents, Alex Luca and Kate Menzel, as well as all the staff today for their hard work in showcasing the college. If you can please join me in a round of applause for them. We also welcome our special dignitaries for today to this milestone event. The Federal Minister for Maribyrnong, the Honourable Bill Shorten, the local member for Nitry, the Honourable Ben Carroll, the local member for Sydenham and alumni, as well as the Minister of Education, the Honourable Natalie Hutchins, and our Mayor of Moonee Valley City Council, Councillor Piers Tyson. Can you join with me in welcoming? We are also truly grateful to our leading sponsors supporting our 60th anniversary and to the many parents and community members who have donated their time, resources to this event. I'm proud of the continuous success of the college in achieving academic excellence, supporting our students in their diverse needs and ensuring they have the skills to reach their career aspirations. As a result of our students, our past students have made exceptional achievements in many fields. This success of the college is not by accident. It is a combination of the commitment, dedication of the staff across the college, so our students have exceptional learning opportunities and the supports needed in their learning. It is also because of our students' connectedness to the school in valuing and fostering a culture of inclusiveness, kindness and aspiration. It is also because of our families and our communities that join together in the support of the college to ensure that we have a strong family-school partnership. It is the combination which makes Buckley Park College such a special place where our community comes together to ensure our facilities are not only well maintained, but it's valued by our students, staff and community. The last time that the college had a major capital upgrade allocated for our resources was 2008, and I'm sure that many of the returning alumni would be pleased to see the transformation of some of the buildings which were used for different purposes in the past. We are pleased to announce that all the proceeds raised from today's event will go to the upgrade of the science wing at the college. As we celebrate the successes of the last 60 years from a school of just 73 in 1963 to now 903 students, I'm assured our college will continue to flourish and continue to be an exceptional place of learning for our community in decades to come. It is my absolute delight to welcome our local member, the Honourable Ben Carroll, Minister for Industry and Innovation, Minister for Manufacturing and Sovereignty, Minister for Employment and Minister for Public Transport to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Harold, for those warm words. Can I also begin my remarks by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands on which we're meeting and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And thank you, Stacey, for that outstanding welcome to country. I do think that wasn't your mum though, that was your twin sister that you had up on the photo, Winifred, and she'd definitely be very proud, as would your grandmother, of you today. I am feeling a little bit old today because when I came here and I met Vivian and Annalise said to me, "Oh, hi Ben, I first met you at Aquila Primary School when you came to announce funding for our school. And I was grade 6 then, I'm now year 12. So it's been a great introduction and it's great to be back here. But Annalise is right, I was elected in 2012, so it was wonderful to be here for the 50th anniversary. But it's even more special to be here with Natalie Hutchins, the Minister for Education, who I was here with recently, and to hear what she's got to say in a little while. As you know, Natalie's a passionate advocate for schools in the Northwest, and obviously in her heart and her mind to have the Education Minister of the state to be an alumni of this great school is something really, really to be celebrated. And can I also, another alumni is the local mayor, Piers Tyson. So that's another wonderful achievement. Sophie in my office is also an alumni, and Bill Shorten's not an alumni, but he is here, and that's very important as a local federal member of Parliament too. But we do know, you know, the college motto is build your wings, and this motto really is fitting for a wonderful school indeed, because that is what schools should all be about. Setting young people up for the future as they move into adulthood. I've been to Buckley Park on many occasions. I was first invited here by Tony Tardio, and I remembered vividly it wasn't just come down to the school and have a tour, Ben, it was come down and meet what happens inside the classrooms at this wonderful school. And to see firsthand the quality of the teaching experience, the effort that goes in to preparing students and young people to go on and make their mark is something that I think is very special about Buckley Park. It's also very fitting that I was once here too with the former health minister, the mental health minister Martin Foley, because Buckley Park, whether it's the Safe Schools program, whether it's, as Harold said, that quest for making sure everyone belongs and everyone feels inclusive, Buckley Park is without peer when it comes to creating an environment of inclusivity. So I want to thank you all for the opportunity to be here. I want to congratulate you. I did get up in the Victorian Parliament on the 50th celebration, and I did talk about a beautiful spring day out in Essendon. We don't quite have the weather today, but I think we're going to have some really wonderful news shortly. And I do look forward to getting up in Parliament again when I go back with Minister Hutchins to talk about the 60th anniversary and what this school means to the community of the Northwest. Congratulations to students past, present and future, to the organising committee for today's event, to principals past and present that are here, to parents, the organising committee, the volunteers. It's a unique school, it's a special school, and its best years are still to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Honourable Ben Carroll for his attendance and support of our school. I'd now like to introduce our Federal Member for Malvern and Minister for NDIS, Honourable Bill Shorten.
Hi, good afternoon everybody. Thank you very much to the school for inviting me to be part of the 60th anniversary. I'd firstly like to acknowledge that Buckley Park College stands on the lands of the Wurundjeri people. I thank Stacey for her fantastic welcome to country, and I can't speak for the rest of you, but I was quite moved when I looked at that sort of progression of story on the slides, and it couldn't help just remind me to think that there's still unfinished business. That's why I'll be voting yes on the referendum on October the 14th, and I encourage people to find out more about the topic and to think in the same way. I'd also like to acknowledge the principal and the school council for inviting and organising this. In our busy world, we don't always take time to stop to perhaps look back at where we've come from. You know, we're very consumed in the 24 hours and our messages on our phones and family and work. But it is good to take stock periodically and perhaps not even just think in a sort of negative way, but to think positively about what's been accomplished. When you think about what it was like here 60 years ago, and I had the opportunity to talk to some of the inaugural teachers, it is remarkable how much has been achieved. As Harold said, you know, 73 kids, 5 portable classrooms. It was bought from the land of the brother of the family who ran a retail company called Buckley and Nunn. And you'd have to be of a certain generation to even have heard of Buckley and Nunn. But I wasn't teasing anyone there. But it is interesting, in that 60 years, what's happened. I was trying to do the maths in my head as I think through how many kids have graduated from this school over that time. It really is remarkable, not just what's been accomplished since then, but that's thousands and thousands of people who've had their imaginations expanded, their opportunities and horizons increased. I did discover that, and when I look at some of the fabulous developments happening now and supported by the state government, by Ben and by Natalie, but I understand that the first equipment purchased was a pie warmer and a refrigerator, and that in October of the opening year, a canteen committee was established. So, I salute the current school council. I think the world's got more complicated since the pie warmer. The motto, and aren't the school captains and the school leadership team impressive, articulate advocates of the school, but the motto, build your wings, it really is still relevant now as it was when it was first proposed, that motto. The idea that you could fly with a Buckley Park education underneath their wings. And that's a beautiful concept, and the idea of kindness, community and resilience. These are eternal values. I found out that the first principal, Mr. George Sinclair, said upon leaving the school, a school is people and its traditions and the traditions are their ideas and attitudes. Both those of the present and the past make a contribution. He concluded, in these ways we help build something worthwhile, something which we're pleased to be associated with. So I think that's a very relevant proposition to think about as we celebrate the 60 years. But for me, to go into the real history of my own dealings, the mayor is educated here, Piers Tyson, but I grew up in the southeast in Oakley. I moved to Moonee Valley in the early 90s. But the first time I met or was aware of Buckley Park, it's a personal story, was when I met a young student from La Trobe Uni who was kind, unless you annoyed her. She was very resilient. She completely believed in community. And sometimes when you learn about a school, it's through the people who went there who you first meet. And so I got to meet Natalie Hutchins when she was at La Trobe University, and she was part of a sort of posse of very talented kids from the school. And I remember thinking, this Buckley Park school must be quite a school if it can produce people as clever and compassionate and as motivated as people like Natalie. So I think that for what you've done in the last 60 years and what you will do in the future, I feel quite privileged to be with you here today. Thank you very much.
I'd now like to thank the Honourable Bill Shorten for your attendance and support to our school. I'd also like to introduce the Mayor of Moonee Valley Council, Councillor Piers Tyson, who's also a former Buckley Park student.
Thanks, Deepak, and thank you to our student leaders and Harold. I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land and thank Stacey for her excellent welcome. And I think colouring these things in for context and for us to be able to understand is so important going into the referendum, rather than, a simple line that we might say at the start of a speech. I think it's really important for us to understand the history and context of those words. So I'm incredibly honoured to stand before everyone today as a former student of this remarkable institution. It fills me with joy to be a part of Buckley Park College's 60th anniversary, and a milestone that reminds us of the rich history and enduring legacy of this incredible school. Buckley Park was a construction site for a significant proportion of the time that I attended here. The school, for many, I'm sure, is unrecognisable from when you first came here, in cramped portables for myself. I remember B Block being from some of the darkest, most brutalist architectural minds in the country before it was demolished. And this school was transformed at a time when Minister Shorten started representing in our area through the Building the Education Revolution, which brought desperately needed funds to schools that needed it most. Our area in Moonee Valley has one of the highest proportions of private schools in the state, and to me it demonstrates that buildings aren't everything. This school has always punched far above its weight, and I've reflected how much Buckley Park has shaped me. Buckley Park has always served our entire community, and an example being one of the first friends that I made at this school lived at the Flemington Housing Estate, and she was immensely proud of that fact. She opened my eyes to the full spectrum of lives, backgrounds and families that we come from. Our teachers too. While we did not realise at the time, so many of our teachers shaped my beliefs in social and economic justice. They always encouraged us to walk a mile in another's shoes, to think about what we can do to help and to be a part of our community. This year is also a milestone for my year's cohort. I won't mention what year I graduated, but Minister Hutchins is just a couple of years older than me. But my fellow students have gone on to do some wonderful things, from actors, DJs and world-famous music artists to those working every trade imaginable and those making a difference through the justice system, climate action and public service. This 60th anniversary is a testament to the dedication and hard work of everyone who has been a part of the Buckley Park College community, from the founders, teachers and staff, to students and parents. It's a time to reflect on our past achievements and look forward to the continuing bright future. Thank you to Principal Chung for the honour of joining you for this celebration, and as Mr Totaro, the principal, when I was here, was fond of saying repeatedly, every week at school assembly, everything this school does is to build your wings. Thank you.
Thank you to Councillor Pearce-Tyson for returning to Buckley Park College in support of our community event. Now we are really proud to announce another alumni student of Buckley Park College, none other than the Honourable Minister for Education, Honourable Natalie Hutchins.
Thanks, Vivian. And could I begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land, Wurundjeri, and pay my respects to elders past and present, and to say a huge thank you to Stacey and her daughter, who is patiently waiting for Mum to finish. Thank you. And to my colleagues who are on the stage, Bill, Ben and Pierce, thank you for being here today and celebrating with the wonderful students, staff, former principals that I'm sure are here to celebrate this significant milestone of 60 years. It's so fantastic to be here. And I'm really thrilled. I'm going to get straight to the chase because there's already been a lot of speeches, but I'm really thrilled to be able to make an announcement here today on this very special occasion. And I'm delighted to tell you that the Victorian Government is investing $2 million into planning an upgrade and modernising the facilities here. That's right. Now, I attended this college back in the 80s where we had big ambitions and big hair, really big hair. And I did my VCE here, and I got the results not by email but by mail, where I had to sit by the letterbox and wait for the postie to come. And it was a pretty long journey to get to that point in my life, and there were so many amazing teachers at this school that supported me. I was very lucky to come here at a time where we had a whole cohort of new graduates come out of teaching school and hit the ground running here, and I think that helped to contribute to the passion that I had for politics at a very early age, but the passion for social justice that I know many of my friends had at the same time. And it was teachers like Margie Bainbridge and Christine Shelley and Chris Frampton, Miss Spain, Mr Joachim, for all of the support and work that they gave. Some pretty old names, and of course Principal Osborne, who was here at the time too. But they lifted us up, they nurtured our talents, and I have a friend here today who works with me every day and is a former student, Gabby. Thank you for being here. But also want to call out some of my other friends that I went through, and I graduated here in '89. One of my still best friends today is now the first female managing director of Honda Australia. Another one of my friends is the Asia Pacific manager of Hugo Boss, and they came through Buckley Park and they were lifted up here. And I'm really pleased to say I'm still very close friends with a whole lot of people from that generation. And I know that's what's really special about this place is the nurturing that it gives you, not just the fantastic educational outcomes, but the nurturing that it gives. And I think that's a sign of success to be very, very proud of. I know that this college has a lot to offer, and it is very diverse in its curriculum, but also supports diversity as well. And that comes down to the great teachers, the great learning opportunities, the great community, and some even better facilities, hopefully, after today's announcement. I was part of a group called the B4 Bombers, and that is, there's a classroom called B4, or there was a classroom called B4, and we used to all hang out there. And there is a secret that remains in the closet that I'm going to reveal today, and that is I did get suspended. I got suspended for one day. And one of my partners in crime is over there. Why did I get suspended? Because we, I can't remember, we did something naughty and the whole year was banned from going to the Rock of Stedford when I was in year 9. We were all banned to go to the Rock of Stedford, and so that's not why I got suspended. I actually organised, along with a couple of other students, to have our own excursion without telling the school, and we hired a bus, we faked the permission slips, we took the cash, and we went to the Rock of Stedford. And when I got back, and we had tick sheets, we had permission forms, we did it all properly, legitimately, just forgot to tell the teachers. And when we got back, Mr Osborne was waiting at the gate saying, right, who were the organisers in my office? So yeah, a few of us got suspended for a day, and then got banned from doing the Rock of Stedford the following year. So that was the real punishment. But this is a wonderful school, it's a vibrant school, and I hope there are a lot of people here today who are up to the celebration of 60 years and many more to come. Thanks.
First of all, thank you so much to the Honourable Nathalie Hutchins for her presentation and stories and reflections on Buckley Park, and also teaching our young students new tricks of the trade, how to not get suspended. It is also, thank you so much to the state government for the announcement today. I can truly say not only our community, our students, but all our staff are highly grateful. So on behalf of the college, thank you so much. Additionally, I just want to thank all of the dignitaries today for coming. It is absolutely valued, and it absolutely showcases the importance of community to the school and how we can't live without our community, and really we want to give everything back to the community so that way not only the people here today but the generations after can get the benefits of a high quality education in a caring environment. It is now that I would love to introduce, have all our dignitaries join our two of our students, Eva and Villara, who's our Year 7 student voice leaders, as well as I will invite our oldest, I shouldn't say oldest, our most mature, I should say, ex-student who is now a staff member, as well as our youngest. And I, again, won't say youngest, that's not, but our most recent school leaver, who has also now joined us as a staff member to come up on stage to cut the 60th anniversary cake. Here. 2, 3. To the 60th. For again her reflections and telling us about her journey as a family and welcoming us to country. So thank you, Stacey. Additionally, we want to thank our ministers and the Mayor for today, and the broader community for today for their support, because as I said, without you, members of our community, and without your support, this school will not be the place that it is. As we finish, I just wanted to signpost some of the events that are on tonight. Number one, if you haven't realised, we have a spring market happening. Spring, it is slightly wintry, but spring market in the gymnasium. We also welcome you to go to the library to see our historical timeline and also some of the archival items that we have on display. There is also the cake that will be served there, as well as scones, so please do go and visit. And if you haven't noticed, we have a lot of rides happening on our South Oval, and at 5 o'clock we will also have our fundraising auction right here and facilitated by Bill Carr from Barrow Plant Real Estate. On behalf of the college and all our staff, students, thank you so much for coming tonight, and it is an absolute delight to have you. For our dignitaries, if I can just ask them to stay for our official photos, and once again, thank you. Have a great day.